Hello, Kiss fans, Kiss nerds, whichever nomenclature you prefer to use. Either way, I am one of you. That's why I'm doing this video. This is my, let me introduce myself first. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Dan. Do I have to welcome you to my channel? No, it's the internet. Maybe you've seen some of my videos before, maybe not. I'm a huge Kiss fan. I'm 53 years old almost. I got into Kiss when I was 6 or 7 years old. It was 1976 when I got into Kiss. And I apologize for people who know this, my regulars. If you know this already, you can fast forward. Some of you have already fast forwarded, scrolled. So I've been a Kiss fan for a long, long time. I consider them on many, many levels to be my favorite band ever. I've got a big a Kiss tattoo here. My life, to some extent, at certain periods has revolved around Kiss, so that's what I want to talk about. Just getting something quickly out of the way before I explain this. I do occasionally get requests for people to follow me or my Instagram name. If you do want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Danbowski Mexico. That's it, just Danbowski, like the name of this channel, Mexico. No underscore, no periods, no dash, no slash, anything like that. Danbowski Mexico. On Instagram, if you wish to follow for some non-Kiss related stuff and some other Kiss related stuff. So what I want to do today is something that has never been done before in the history of the internet. You can scour YouTube. You won't find anybody who's done what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to rank all the Kiss albums, the Kiss studio albums. It's never been done before, and more than that, this is not opinion, this is a fact. Whatever I'm about to say, the words that are going to come out of my mouth, you can take these to the bank, brother. These are not opinions, these are for sure my fact. All right? It's going to be all 24 studio albums. That's going to include the solo albums from 1978. Not any live albums or compilations, smashes, thrashes, hits, double platinum, none of that. I do consider Alive to be the greatest album ever. It was the first album I ever got, the one that I mentioned in 1976. It's kind of strange to think that I've never got an album in all those years, 46 years since then. Nothing is bested Alive, but it's true. And I started talking about this. If you like Kiss, and if you're not a Kiss fan, why else would you be watching this? I did a talk about a month or maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago with Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys and Broken Teeth and Watchtower and Godzilla Motor Company and Igniter and Evil United and a Kiss tribute band called Sick, which is Kiss backwards. I did it with him and Chris McClernand from Saigon Kick and Daniel DK from Exciter. We all got together and we compared the two Kiss Alive 1 and 2. We compared those. So if you're interested in Kiss, you might want to go back and watch that. If you like to subscribe to my channel, I have over 1,100 videos. I've never encouraged people to subscribe. If you like to, please do. I don't know why YouTubers are always saying subscribe and like and leave a comment. Please do, you're welcome to, but I don't encourage that. I enjoy reading comments and I appreciate it if you subscribe. If you're subscribing because you're a Kiss fan, you might see 1 or 2 videos a year about Kiss. It's a lot of other stuff. So if you subscribe, it'll probably be a bunch of crap that you don't care about. So here's my rankings. These are 24 albums. I actually put a lot of thought into this. I didn't want to just, sometimes I have a tendency to take things a little bit too seriously. And I mean, some of them the bottom ones were easy. The top ones were more or less easy. And then there were some I wasn't sure, like, do I like, just as an example, I'm not giving a spoiler, like, do I like, where would I place Asylum compared to Dynasty? Or where do I put Creatures of the Night compared to Revenge? Or, the first album versus, Destroyer, something like that. So I'm going to try to, as I continue, I'm going to try to justify why each album earned its position on my official, not opinion, official Kiss rankings. 24 albums, here we go. I'm going to start, and I've got them all written down here. I won't show it, I don't want to give anything away. I don't have any notes, just the list here. Number 24. This was the easiest choice to make, much easier than the number one. Peter Criss's 1978 solo album. Many times I've cited that album, and I kind of feel bad for saying this, as the worst album ever recorded by any band or musician or artist ever. This album sucks. Peter Criss 1978 solo album sucks. I thought that then, even when I was a kid, when I was 8 years old and I got this, I thought it was bad, and I tried listening to it, years later, and then again years later. My opinion hasn't changed, and that's maybe the justification for some of these things is some of them, I like them at a certain level when I got them. Other ones, I didn't like them then, but I like them now. They change a little bit, and I'll try to also, I'm going backwards a little bit, try to justify it by maybe what I expected from Kiss at the time, and obviously getting into them when I was 6 years old and being now almost 53 years old, or 45 when their last album came out, you see things a little bit differently. But Peter Criss is number 24. That was when I wrote this list, I kind of went backwards. I started with 24, and I started at number 1. Those were clear, and then I kind of filled in the gaps. So Peter Criss, and just a little bit about the solo albums. I do consider them Kiss albums. They have, for whatever this is worth, they say Kiss on them. They have the Kiss makeup. They were more or less, except for Peter Criss's and kind of Gene's, in the vein of Kiss. And at that point, Kiss was using studio musicians anyway. It wasn't necessarily the four of them working together. So that's why I've included the 4 solo albums from 1978. Peter Criss is an easy number 24. I just have no interest in that album. It's not, I really can't say anything good about that album, even after all these years. So let me cross this one off my list. Peter Criss. I don't want to repeat, or I don't want to miss one. Number 23, and I'm not going to show them. I do have them all. I don't feel like showing them. It's too many. I don't want to have a stack of CDs beside me. So if you're trying to scroll, I guess you'll have to just go by what I'm saying. So 24, Peter Criss. 23, not surprising also. There will be some surprises on this list from all of yours, I'm sure. Obviously, everybody's going to have a different list. This is not a surprise also. You can probably guess number 23. Music from the Elder, 1981. At that point, I'd been in the Kiss for about 5 years, and I just had no interest when this came out. I was 11 years old. I heard A World Without Heroes, didn't like it at all, and I was 11 years old, and I knew enough back then that this is shit. And again, I've listened to it. Honestly, I think I've listened to that album in full, I want to say 3 times in my life, maybe even 2. It's better than Peter Criss's, but I can't say too much about The Elder, anything good. And it's kind of a strange one. A lot of people, I think, would have put this at the bottom of their list. I'm close to the bottom, but some people, I don't know if they're just trying to be anti-establishment or trying to be different, and they claim to love the album. I really don't know how it's possible to love music from The Elder, even to like it. Nothing there for me. So that one's down. We're down to number 22 now. Psycho Circus. This album is not very good. I was so excited, and part of the reason why I have this so low is this came out in 1998. That was a fun time to be a Kiss fan. From about 92 to 96 was a really good time to be a Kiss fan. They were in the reunion stages. Revenge had come out, and that was a very popular album, I think, amongst Kiss fans. Obviously, I'm going to talk about that later. You'll have to see where I put Revenge. And then they were kind of like free agents. They did the Kiss Convention Tour in 95, which I went to in Toronto. And then, of course, the reunion tour in 96. And that was the first time in quite a while that I felt like Kiss is like a major force in my life again. I saw the reunion tour 3 times. I was so excited for Psycho Circus. And then it came out, and it was just horribly disappointing on so many levels. I think they made it. They knew what people like about Kiss. They had the anthems on there, the good times. They had "You Wanted the Best" song. I think each of them sang a verse on that one. It was just every song, almost every song, was like anthemic. Raise your glasses. I pledge allegiance to this. I pledge allegiance to the state of rock and roll, or I pledge allegiance to rock and roll, something like that. Full of anthems. And even before I knew that Ace and Peter didn't play on it, I just didn't like it. And then when I found out that they didn't play on it, that gave me even that kind of cemented my reasons for not liking it. What a opportunity missed that Kiss had not doing a really good album. Although I guess they gave the people what they thought they wanted. And I don't understand why Psycho Circus, the title track, has remained in the set list now. I don't think it's a good song at all. I don't really like. I think the only song I like on that album is Within, the Gene song. Peter's song is horrible. Going back to Peter Criss's Soul album, I finally found my way, or I found my way back to you. It's just an awful song. They gave him a song. They gave Ace a song to sing, Into the Void. They had, was it You Wanted the Best, where they each sang a verse. It was just very, very by the numbers, which can be good, but in this case, I thought Psycho sucked. Didn't like it at all. Can't say anything good about that album. And didn't Kiss miss an opportunity to do a live 4 on the reunion tour? I think so. That was number 22, Psycho Circus. My pen is not working here. There it is. 21, number 21 is Crazy Nights. Probably also not a surprise. I think this is an album that is not very well regarded. I think for people who got into Kiss, maybe who are a little bit younger than me, who got into Kiss in the 80s probably love Crazy Nights. I don't like it. I was at the point at this time with Kiss where I almost felt it was my duty to like it. Whenever Kiss put out a new album or a new song or did a tour, I thought, oh yes, I have to like it. And I think, being honest with myself now, even at the time, I didn't hate it, but just wait. The keyboards are, and I don't mind keyboards. I love Faith No More, who is full of keyboards. Just way too, it depends how they use them too, just way too sappy. Crazy Nights is very, very, some people would probably say polished. People might say overproduced. It's just really glossy, bright, shiny. If you can describe music as that, that's how Crazy Nights is. Catchy and very poppy too. They were clearly going after the Bon Jovi crowd and Def Leppard crowd. This came out in 1987, and I saw them on that tour. And again, I loved it at the time. It was cool to see Kiss at the time. That was my second time seeing them. But in retrospect, that wasn't even a good tour. They were playing a lot of 80s stuff and not very much classic stuff. Can I pick? I'll Fight Hell to Hold You is a good song. Good vocals on that one. No, which maybe some people would love. Maybe for the same reason that I don't like it. I don't like heavy Kiss or really like the rock Kiss. And no, it's kind of, fast drums, the drum intro, and some wailing guitars by Bruce Kulick. I think Bruce Kulick's guitar tone on that album sucked. It just sounded really thin, really weak. I don't have any notes here. What else could I say? The title track, Crazy, these are crazy. Here's a little song for everybody out there. Garbage. Very catchy, but garbage. Yeah, Crazy Nights was Kiss. Not quite at their lowest, but just not very good. So Crazy Nights 21. Going now to the end, to 2015, number 20 is Monster. The reason I have Monster at number 20, I don't particularly I'm very indifferent towards Monster. It's not good or bad. It's just, it's Kiss in 2015. The reason maybe why I don't have it closer to the bottom, I really have no interest in it. I guess the good thing is, okay, at this point, Kiss had been around for 41 years. This was 41 years after their first album. And I guess on the one hand, I was still thankful that Kiss was still around. I still had Kiss in my life and they were making music. But there's nothing really that stands out. They gave Eric Singer a song to sing. They gave Tommy Thayer a song to sing. Tommy sang Out of This World. I think Out of This World. It was out on Sonic Boom. No, I think it was on Monster. And Eric Carr sang All for the Love of Rock and Roll, similar to I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll, whatever that was on Psycho Circus. And actually, those two songs were not bad. Hell or Hallelujah was the first song from that. It was okay, but nothing really. Wall of Sound, was that? Yeah, Wall of Sound, that was okay too. Freak. some of the worst. I mean, Kiss isn't Bob Dylan, but Freak had some of the worst, maybe the worst Kiss lyrics I've ever heard. Paul Stanley at this point was 63 years old, around there, and sing about how he's a freak because he's got a streak in his hair. I'm a freak. I have a streak in my hair, or something like that. Horrible, just horrendous lyrics. Musically, maybe the song is not too bad, but Monster, I'm kind of indifferent to it. It's hard for me to put it any higher, and it maybe doesn't deserve to be any lower. So that's Monster, if you're keeping track, and I hope you are. I hope you have a pen and you're writing everything down so you can review it. Monster is number 20. 19, another one that I think most people would have pretty low on their list, is Hot in the Shade. Similar to Crazy Nights, it was just too bad, just blah. And also although that was a great tour, I saw that tour twice. The best tour of the 80s, of the 80s era Kiss, I would say Hot in the Shade had the best tour. Amazing set list. They played really well. They seemed like they really wanted it again with Hot in the Shade tour. But just a couple of things about this album. It's too long. It's 15 songs. Kiss albums should be 9, 10 songs, 35, maybe 38 minutes. I don't know how long Hot in the Shade is. I know it's 15 songs. It's probably an hour, maybe close to an hour, possibly over an hour. And just, it doesn't sound that good. It's not quite as, it's missing the gloss and the keyboards of Crazy Nights. And I only learned many years later that some of the songs on this album were demos and not even live drums, but drum machines. And I didn't know that at the time, but maybe that in retrospect is maybe why I didn't like it. But why it's a little bit higher on the list at number 19 out of 24. I do love Forever. That's a great Kiss ballad. Kiss did have some good ballads. I love Rise to It, the first song, the video. That was really cool, seeing that video again at that time in 1989. Them putting on the makeup, it kind of maybe brought some memories back and maybe gave you hope that they were going to get back together, which they did 6 years later. What's another song on Little Caesar? Eric Carr sang a song. That was not bad. The Street Giveth, the Street Taketh Away. Not bad, but generally speaking, just with 15 songs, it's hard to come up with good ones that are going to keep people's attentions for more than 35 minutes. So Hot in the Shade. What was the other song? There was one song on there that I really also liked. I think a lot of people hate the song. I really liked Read My Body. I know it was or was that on Crazy Nights? No, I think it was on Hot in the Shade. Total ripoff of Do you want to know what I'm thinking about? Do you want to I want to make you scream and shout. Hey, Pour Some Sugar on Me and Lay Your Hands on Me, Bon Jovi. Which is why I'm sure a lot of people don't like that song. I like it. So at least anyway, 3 good songs that I really like on Hot in the Shade, but just too much crap. So 19 was Hot in the Shade. I'm up to, or down to, we'll say up to number 18, Sonic Boom. The reason that I realized a lot of these Kiss albums, you can kind of put them together. When I was putting this list together, and it took me a few days to put this together, I wrote it on the list here, and as I said, I kind of filled in the blanks, and sometimes I didn't know where, should this be at number 10 or should it be at number 18? And I tried to come up with reasons to justify, as I explained, why each album got its spot on the list. The reason I have Sonic Boom at 18 and Monster at 20, they are pretty close. I mean, they're really interchangeable albums. They each had a Tommy song. They each had a Eric Singer song, singing vocals. I mean, no ballads, no keyboards, just 10 or 11, however many songs were on each. Rock songs. I think a lot of people were excited about that. They felt that this was, Kiss back to their roots, and Gene promised a Meat and Potatoes album both times. But the thing that I like better, and most of the songs are exactly the same, but the reason I would put Sonic Boom higher, there are 2 killer songs. Modern Day Delilah, the opener, is an amazing later era, even for any era. So, Modern Day Delilah, I think, is a fucking great song. I like it a lot. And even better than that is Yes, I Know, Nobody's Perfect. I would even go so far as to say that could be my favorite non-original lineup song. Yes, I Know Nobody's Perfect. To me, that's a classic Kiss song. That's as close as they've come to sounding like the Kiss that I like, and I think that most people like, and what made Kiss what they were. Yes, I Know is a classic Gene, arrogance. I think the solo, maybe a lot of people wouldn't like this because of that. The solo sounds like Ace. It's obviously Tommy Thayer. Yes, I Know. How does that one go? Yeah. I'm trying to think of the lyrics. I listen to this song all the time. I would say I probably never go more than a month or two without ever listening to it. What's the opening line of Yes, I Know Nobody's Perfect? I'm gonna strike while the iron's hot tonight. You got something want to talk about? Well, I got something you can't live without. Here comes your knight in shining armor again, and that's me, baby. And you know, I love that song. Yes, I know. And I don't know, you never want to be the person that thinks they're so unique to say, I think I'm the only person. I've never heard, I've talked to so many Kiss fans and watched videos similar to this, not exactly like this, because I'm the first one to do this. Nobody has anything ever good to say about Yes, I Know Nobody's Perfect. Most people don't even mention it. I've seen a few people say that song sucks. I love Nobody's Perfect. Classic, killer Kiss. There might be one more in their catalog that I would consider to be in the top running as one of my top two non-original lineup era Kiss songs. Yes, I Know Nobody's Perfect. So that's Sonic Boom at 18. Other than that, Danger Us is just crap. Danger Us, Danger Me, Danger You, Danger She. Awful. And Never Enough. I know that one sounds like Poison, Nothing But a Good Time, but I think that's a pretty good song. Sonic Boom, 18. 17. This will probably be the first surprise. And these next three coming up, 17, 16, and 15, I crossed them out and I rearranged them a little bit. They're all 15, 16, 17, but my original 15, I moved to 16. My original 16, which I'm going to talk about now, is 17. And my original 17, I moved to 15. So for me, the big surprise, probably for sure so far, and maybe the whole list, that a lot of people would disagree with, feel free to call me names in the comments section or tell me how ignorant I am or how wrong I am. Number 17 is Creatures of the Night. I know that's a massive album for a lot of Kiss fans, for most Kiss fans. I don't dislike it. I think from this point on, I do like all the albums. I would say 24 to 18, they had their moments, although Peter Criss didn't have any moments, neither did The Elder. Starting with Creatures of the Night here at 17 is where I like all the albums. But I don't know what it was. This was after The Elder, which I said I don't like at all, so maybe I don't know, it was I was 11 years old, 12 years old when Creatures came out, and I loved I Love It Loud. I remember hearing it on the radio, and I thought, oh my God, this is the Kiss that I love, that I loved at that point for 6 or 7 years. And I do still like I Love It Loud. I think it's a great song. I'm tired of it, but I can't deny that it's not a good song. I think the reason that I don't like it as much as most people is similar to what I said about No 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 on Crazy Nights, is that I don't like heavy Kiss, and I don't like using Skid Row as an example. I love the first Skid Row album. I didn't like Slave to the Grind that much. For me, I don't want Skid Row to be heavy. I want Skid Row to be Skid Row. And I don't want heavy metal Kiss. I like rock Kiss, hard rock Kiss, rock and roll Kiss, whatever you want to call it. And obviously the drums on Creatures of the Night were mammoth, big, huge, massive drum sound. Don't know what else to say about that. I Still Love You, so-so. The title track is great, Creatures of the Night. Rock and Roll Hell is okay. War Machine is excellent. Saint and Sinner, it's okay. Keep Me Coming, I like Keep Me Coming a lot. What else is on that album? That's about it. So it's not a bad album. I just don't like it as much as most people. But it has a couple of great moments on it for sure. So that was 17, Creatures of the Night. I'm up now to 16. This will be a surprise too that I put this one ahead of Creatures of the Night. Carnival of Souls. This was probably the one out of all 24 of these. I think Carnival of Souls was the one I struggled the most with, because I kind of put these when I was putting this together, both in my head and then also on paper. I thought, okay, I want the top ones and the bottom ones, and then okay, my really top ones and the ones I don't like. And I could never figure out where Carnival of Souls would be. Generally, I do like it. I think it has good songs on it, but man, Kiss really followed trends. They did it with Dynasty, going in a disco, down a disco road when disco was popular, and then they wanted to be taken seriously, so they tried The Elder. They wanted to go back to heavy metal, I guess. In '82 was Screaming for Vengeance and The Number of the Beast, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, and maybe Saxon and some other metal bands were up and coming then, and so maybe Kiss wanted to go more heavy metal, and then in the mid '80s, let's say from Asylum through, no, let's even say Animalized through Hot in the Shade. They were kind of like a hard rock band, because that was when Rat, Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard were popular. And then Carnival of Souls was, I know people love to call it a grunge album, which I would say that's more because of the year that came out. It came out in it was recorded in 95, I guess, came out in 97. And grunge music was popular at the time. I don't really see it as a grunge album. It's obviously not a classic Kiss hard rock album, but I really like it. Master and Slave is excellent. Hate, Rain, It Never Goes Away. It's a dark album for sure. I don't know if I would call it grungy. Did I say Jungle? Even the Bruce song, I Walk Alone, I really like that song a lot. Childhood's End, Seduction of the Innocent. I think I would even say there's not a song that I dislike on Carnival of Souls. It's just a weird Kiss album that they went in that style. But really, I think I like every song on Carnival of Souls. Better than Creatures of the Night, for sure. To listen to from beginning to end, Carnival of Souls for sure is for me better than Creatures of the Night. So that was 16 Carnival of Souls. 15 is Dynasty, the last album with the classic lineup, kind of. I know Peter Criss didn't play on it. I guess he played drums on Dirty Livin', obviously. He sang Dirty Livin'. I love some songs. I mean, really, I was 10 years old when this came out, 9, and I loved I Was Made for Loving You. I was my Kiss fandom was still going up to this point. And when I first heard I Was Made for Loving You, I loved it. I still love it. I know a lot of people don't, and I can understand why, but I think it's a great song, catchy. I don't think it's as disco-y as some people would, put on it, but I think I Was Made for Loving You is a great song. It's a good Paul album. Magic Touch is excellent. Sure Know Something is probably my favorite song from this album, although when I was a kid, I loved 2000 Man. I'm not sure if I knew at the time when I was 9 years old who the Rolling Stones were, or I'm sure I knew them for sure, but I didn't know if I saw the credit that it was Jagger and Richards. I don't know when I was 9 years old if I knew, but man, when I was a kid, there was nothing, to me 2000 Man was as good as any Kiss song ever. And I still love 2000 Man. And Ace, that was a great Ace album. 2000 Man. The hard times are dead and gone, and the hard times have made me strong. Love that song. And Save Your Love, the last song on the album, is great. A little bit of a weak Gene album. Charisma is pretty cool. He only had 2, Charisma and X-Ray Eyes. They're okay. This album also didn't sound the best. I'm not sure if that was the disco influence or if it was that Peter Criss was gone or what it is, but it's not the best sounding album, Dynasty, but some great songs on it, some that are kind of questionable. I originally had it higher. I originally had Dynasty at 17 and Carnival of Souls at 15, but I went back to my youth to remember, no, when this came out in 1979, I liked it much more than I liked Carnival of Souls, which came out when I was 27 years old. So Dynasty is number 15. Now we're at 14. 14 is Animalize. This was, there's some shitty songs on this. That's another terrible Gene album. Not terrible, as I said, Charisma was pretty good, and X-Ray Eyes is pretty good. But Gene songs on Analyze, While the City Sleeps, I guess is okay. Burn Bitch Burn, I liked it at the time when I was 14 when it came out. I thought it was, I guess, pretty cool. Murder in High Heels, I think is not very good. Amazing Paul album. Paul Stanley owned this album. I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, the opening song. Heaven's on Fire, even though I got really tired of that song in that era around the 84, all through the 80s. That video was on all the time. I got tired of it, but it's a great song. Heaven's on Fire. Thrills in the Night, Under the Gun. Get All You Can Take is a song that maybe it's overlooked. I never really hear anybody talking about it. They don't say anything good or bad, but I really like it. I think, and Animalize, great Paul Stanley album. Very subpar Gene songs, but I think the Paul songs are good enough that as a complete album, I would put it up to 14. And good sounding album. That one sounded really good too, as did the Lick It Up before it and Creature of the Night. They were going in the right direction sonically, I think, with Animalize. These next two. So that was Animalize at 14. The next ones, 13 and 12. I originally wrote them down and then I changed them. So at number 13, I'm going to put Asylum. I have really good memories of Asylum. It was the first time I saw them. The first time I saw Kiss was on the Asylum tour. That was April 8th, 1986. The second to last night of the Asylum tour at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. King Cobra opened, and I love the singles from the album. I love Tears Are Falling, All Night, and Who Wants to Be Lonely. A lot of people don't like singles. Again, I don't know if they want to be contrarian, but I really like those three singles, and I love, probably my favorite song on Asylum is Secretly Cruel. Great song. King of the Mountain is a good opener. Maybe a little bit too metally for me, but it's still pretty good. Radar for Love, I think, is an excellent song. I'm Alive, that one's okay. Love's a Deadly Weapon, that's okay too. But overall, I really like Asylum. I think also, as I said, because of the sentimental reasons. If I had got into Kiss maybe in the 80s, maybe I wouldn't have liked this as much. Or if it had been my first album that I ever heard by Kiss, maybe I would have put it at the top. But it's up at 13. I do like it. Actually, I would even say I love Asylum, and it's up fairly high. 13. It's right in the middle. That's for sentimental reasons too. Terrible album cover, and I did have that shirt too. It was the first Kiss shirt I ever had. I don't think I had one. No, I didn't. The first concert or the first band shirt I ever had was the Who. I had a Who It's Hard shirt in about probably 1980 or 80. No, wouldn't have been 1980, 81 or 82. But Asylum was my first Kiss shirt. Isn't that interesting? So that's Asylum, number 13. Number 12, we're going back to the solo albums, 1978. Which one is it? I'll give you a second to think about it. Have you figured it out? We already talked about Peters. You know it's not Peters. So it's either Paul, Gene, or Ace. Which one is number... so this would be my second least favorite of the solo albums. I'll give you a clue. It's the one with the purple outline. Yes, it's Paul Stanley's album. I didn't get into this at the time. I had Gene's and Ace's solo albums at the time in 1978. For some reason, I don't remember getting Paul's until the early 80s, maybe. I don't know why. Maybe that was something to do with it. If I had had it at the time in 1978, maybe I would have liked it a lot more. And I do like it a lot. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? Move On, It's All Right. Take Me Away, Together as One. Hold Me, Touch Me, and that one's not so good. Goodbye, the last song is great. I like that album a lot. It's probably, it is for sure, of the four 1978 solo albums, it's the most Kiss album, I would think. Peters obviously was the furthest from Kiss, which is probably why I didn't like it and why I still don't like it. Paul Stanley's is the most Kiss sounding of the 1978 solo albums. Took me some time to get into it, but I do like it. And if you're still watching this, I don't know how many people are. I know everybody's scrolling ahead, to find their favorite album. But Jason McMaster, who I mentioned was in Dangerous Toys, Broken Teeth, Watchtower, Igniter, Evil United, Godzilla Motor Company. He's in another band, I think I didn't mention them in the introduction, called Cash is King. And he or they recently did a cover of Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? Yeah, he or Cash is King, Jason McMaster, did a cover of Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? He sent it to me some months ago. It's really good. I like it a lot. I think it's going to be on the next Cash is King album, which is coming out, I want to say October 22nd. But I have that version of the Paul Stanley cover, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, by Cash is King. And it's excellent. I highly recommend that you check out Cash is King when that album comes out, I think next month. So Paul Stanley, number 12. Number 11, this was another one I wasn't sure where to put. Number 11 is, I think a lot of people would have this higher. I have Revenge at number 11. At this point, probably because it surpassed expectations. This was after the two really bad albums, Hot in the Shade and Crazy Nights. So maybe I thought, I don't really have too much, my expectations are not very high for Revenge. And then when Unholy came out, the first time I heard it, this was in the video age, obviously, video era. They played Unholy on Much Music. I'm from Canada, and in Canada we have Much Music, and they played that there. And that was the first time I'd been just fucking blown away by a Kiss song on first listen, probably since I Love It Loud, or maybe even I Was Made for Loving You. I thought, again, this is this is the Kiss that I like. I loved Unholy. That was the first Gene single, or the first Gene lead vocal in a song that they did a video for since I Love It Loud. So that was 10 years. Every video and song they did after Creatures of the Night up to Revenge was all Paul Stanley. I would say Unholy is, of the non-classic Kiss era, like non-original lineup, Unholy is top 3 maybe. I really, really love Unholy. Take It Off is the second song. That's now Kiss did again. They were all wearing black on the back of the album cover. They were all wearing black leather jackets, black leather pants. They were clearly, again, just going with the trends, getting away from the glam. At that point in '92, Bon Jovi, not so much Bon Jovi, Cinderella and Poison and Rat, they had fallen by the wayside. It was Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, maybe Stone Temple Pilots. And Kiss was kind of going back into that hard rock / metal, although they still had some good Kiss songs. Take It Off was one. I Just Wanna, which I think is another great song. I think it's the last song on the album, or second last. Car Jam, I think, is the last one. Or God Gave Rock and Roll. Horrible. God Gave Rock and Roll to You is a shitty Kiss song. I know it's a cover song. Maybe the most surprising song it's kind of become almost like a staple for them. I really don't like God Gave Rock and Roll to You, but it's a good Gene album. It was Gene's first real good album, probably since Creatures of the Night. Paralyzed, Thou Shalt Not, Domino. I know Domino is kind of corny and cheesy. I always liked it. I still like it. And what else did Paul have? Every Time I Look at You, another good Kiss ballad. I mentioned Forever from Hot in the Shade. I think Every Time I Look at You is excellent, just as good as Forever, maybe better. What else did Paul have on that album? I Just Wanna. Take It Off was the second song. Heart of Chrome, that's a great song. Heart of Chrome is excellent. Yeah, Revenge is really good. Yeah, it's number 11. That's I think where it should be. Now I didn't mention. When I talked about Sonic Boom at number 18, I said that Yes, I Know Nobody's Perfect is probably my second favorite Kiss song from the non-original lineup. apart from the classic era. It could be, I would say 1 and 2 are that one. Yes, I Know, Nobody's Perfect, and Spit from Revenge. My God, those are two killer songs. Spit, far and away my favorite song on Revenge, which I do like. So for it to be such a great song, that means I really like that album. Got No Manners and I'm Not Too Clean, but I know what I like, if you know what I mean. What'll people say? Well, Mr. Can't You See? It don't mean spit to me. Good God, no, good God, Lord above, want a lot of women with a lot of love. Well, thin as in, well, it's plain to see it don't mean spit to me. And Paul and Gene trade vocals on that, which was that their first one trading vocals since like Shout It Out Loud? I think it was. I love that song. Spit is fucking killer. To me, that's just as good as anything from the classic era, or if I had to make a list of my top 10 Kiss songs of all their albums, all my favorite ones, Spit and maybe Yes I Know might, I don't know, could be on the top 10. But Spit and Yes I Know, Nobody's Perfect, top 2 non-original lineup era Kiss songs. So that was Revenge number 10. All right, Revenge was 11. Now we're going into 10. This is one, I think another one, a little bit of surprise. I think a lot of people would have this much lower. Some people would have it down near the bottom. For me, number 10 is Unmasked. I loved this album when it came out. I liked it way better than Dynasty. As evidenced by this list, I have Dynasty at number 15 and Unmasked at number 10. It's never changed. I've always loved Unmasked more than Dynasty. I think I'm not going to say the obvious things about it. I just like, I would say I like or even love every song on Unmasked. It's a strange sounding album. It's kind of still a little bit of a disco-y kind of pop album, similar to Dynasty. Peter Criss was gone at this point. Had nothing to do with the album, although at that time I was 10 years old when Unmasked came out. I didn't know that. Maybe if I had known, maybe I wouldn't have liked it as much. Maybe psychologically it would have changed the way I felt about that album. But every song, that's another great Paul album. I think this was around, let's say from Dynasty, I think of as a Paul album. Unmasked is a Paul album. Animalize for sure. Maybe even Crazy Nights and Hot in the Shade. Tomorrow, Two Sides of the Coin, Is That You, Shandy, those are all great songs. Gene's songs were, did he have, how many songs? He had I think he had 3, Naked City, What Makes the World Go Round, and She's So European. They were okay. To me, this album really reminds me of Dynasty, although I like the songs better. Only 3 Gene songs. Dynasty had 2. Typically, Paul and Gene would have the same number of songs. Paul had, Is That You, Shandy, Two Sides of the Coin. Two Sides of the Coin. Two Sides of the Coin is Ace. Is That You, Shandy, Tomorrow. Easy as It Seems. That might be my favorite song on the album. So Paul had like 5 songs. Ace had 3. Ace's output equaled Gene's. Ace had Torpedo Girl, Two Sides of the Coin, as I mentioned, and what was Ace's other song? Two Sides of the Coin, Torpedo Girl. Ace had one more on Unmasked. No, probably anybody that's watching this are going, "You're an idiot! I know the song. Why don't you know it?" It's because I just can't think of it now. But Unmasked, I think, is an excellent album. No problem, really, with Unmasked. I would even say some of my, I can't say top Kiss level songs, but Unmasked is very good. And I love, actually, Gene's song. My favorite Gene song is, on the album, is You're All That I Want. You're all that I want. You're all that I need. You're the only one I've been dreaming of. Not quite a ballad song, but a tender Gene song. Unmasked, number 10. I wish I were more articulate. Sometimes I feel like I'm stammering and stuttering. I have a lot going on up here and my mouth can't keep up. So Unmasked was number 10. So I'm at number 9 now. Lick It Up. I love Lick It Up. In some ways, this album could have been higher. but I just couldn't justify putting it any higher. Lick It Up, every single song is fantastic. Exciter, I can't remember them in order, but I think I can name all 10. Exciter, let me go with the Paul songs. Exciter, Lick It Up, All Hell's Breaking Loose, Give Me More, and A Million to One. 5 Paul, 5 Gene. Gene was Dance All Over Your Face, Not for the Innocent, Young and Wasted. On the 8th Day, Not for the Innocent, Dance All Over Your Face, Young and Wasted, and I'm forgetting one also. I forgot one. I forgot Ace's 3rd song from Unmasked, and I forget Gene's 5th song from Lick It Up. Everybody is yelling at the screen now. They know it. Because I know when I watch other people doing this and they have the same glitches, I'm saying, come on, man, you know what it is. I need some encouragement. But every song, and no ballads on this album, which doesn't mean it doesn't mean that, Monster and Sonic Boom didn't have any ballads either, and it was well-rounded. It had, the equal number of songs by Paul and Gene. And of course, Paul saying "Lick It Up." Maybe I didn't mention that. Did I give one extra song to Paul? I can't remember. But when this album came out, I think at that point, I don't know what my expectations were, but this was similar to Unholy. The first time I heard "Lick It Up," the title track, was when I saw the video. It was also, I don't know if it was Much Music at the time or one of those video shows or something, and I freaked. I thought, man, this is just incredible. This is the Kiss that I really liked. And maybe that one I liked as much. I mentioned earlier that Unholy was, for me, the best song since, I Love It Loud. Maybe I liked Lick It Up as much as I Love It Loud. And seeing Kiss without the makeup for the first time, seeing their boots, the camera was from the knees down and you saw their boots walking, and then all of a sudden there's Kiss with no makeup that I had seen them for the first time. I was 13 years old, and I love Lick It Up. Obviously, I'm tired of it now, but I still think that's a very good song. As is every single song on Lick It Up. 10 songs, 10 perfect songs. Killer. Maybe Vinnie Vincent had a lot to do with that. Some people like to credit Vinnie Vincent. So number 9 was Lick It Up. Number 8, going back to the solo albums, Ace Frehley's solo albums. I had a hard time, I don't want to give anything away, but Ace, I think when I was a kid, I'll give a little spoiler. Gene's is number 7, okay? I have Gene at number 7 and Ace at number 8. It could have easily gone the other way too. I think I've always gone back and forth. When I was a kid, I loved Ace's album. Rip It Out, Speeding Back to My Baby, Ozone, Snowblind, What's on Your Mind, Fractured Mirror, New York Groove, Wiped Out. I'm in Need of Love. I think I got them all. Oh man, I just love that album. I really liked Ace's voice. To me, that was, I don't know if I knew the term heavy then as it related to music, but I thought this is like a real heavy album. It was very rock. But I also remember liking Gene's equally. I think maybe as the years have gone on, I think especially after the Unplugged album, when Gene did See You Tonight on Unplugged, that kind of made me go back and revisit Gene's album. I think a lot of people, I think the general consensus among us Kiss nerds or Kiss fans is that Ace is number 1, Paul is 2, Gene 3, and Peter 4. Everybody agrees Peter's is 4th. I have them, I'm going to say Gene 1, Ace 2. 1 and 2 are super, super close. Paul 3, a distant 3rd, although I still really do like that album, as mentioned. And Peter's is a much, 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 much more distant 4th. So Ace's Gene's, oh man, Gene's is very unique. It had, some songs were kind of Kiss-like, Radioactive, and then some of it was kind of Beatles sounding, mellow sounding, but I love it. Radioactive. See You in Your Dreams. I'm not sure why he redid that from Rock and Roll Over, but I did like Gene's version. Tunnel of Love. Mr. Make-Believe, Man of a Thousand Faces, Always Near You, Nowhere to Hide, Living in Sin, True Confessions. Yeah, I have to put Gene's slightly ahead of Ace's. Maybe some years ago I would have put it the other way, but man, Gene's 1978 solo album is fucking awesome. It's number 7 out of 24 albums. 7 is pretty good. That's probably a surprise for most people, but I can't say enough good things about Gene's solo album at number 7. Number 6, this is one maybe some people would consider this low amongst in the Kiss circle. I have their debut album, Kiss, at number 6, mostly because of how it sounds. I think everybody knows the first 3 Kiss albums. They all sounded different from each other, but none of them sounded particularly good. The way that I see it is we Kiss fans like to, Kiss is a very, very easy band to put into different compartments and different sections. You have the first 3 albums, studio albums, and then Alive. Then another 3 studio albums, then Alive 2. Then the 4 studio albums. That's another box, another compartment. And then they had their kind of disco-y pop era, Dynasty and Unmasked. And then they had their kind of more metal, hard rock era, Creatures of the Night and Lick It Up. Kind of Animalized was in there too. And then Asylum, Crazy Nights and Hot in the Shade were more like hard rock, 80s hard rock. So of the first 3 albums, Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill, and then the second 3, Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun, I think overall I like the songs better on the first 3, but because the second group of 3, Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun, they just sound so much better. To me, they kind of balance out. So I've Kiss at number 6. It's for sure their most classic album, the album that they've gone to the most, the album that's endured great songs, Deuce, Strutter, Nothing to Lose. I don't know them in order because I don't really listen to Kiss albums in order. I tend to listen to the live albums much, much more, and then the songs that they didn't do on Alive 1 and 2, I listen to those individually. Deuce, Strutter, Nothing to Lose, Black Diamond, Love Theme from Kiss, Kissin' Time. Maybe my second favorite Kiss song in their entire catalog, classic era, original era, 80s era, whatever, Let Me Know. Just Gotta Decide, Girl, and Then You Let Me Know. That could be number 2. I haven't mentioned my number 1, the one that I consider number 1. But I think Let Me Know. I love Gene and Paul going back and forth on the vocals, trading off on the vocals. But it's not the best sounding album, but it's a classic. Obviously, I have it at number 6, so man, I love it. So Kiss, 1974, self-titled number 6. That came out in January or February 1974, early. And it did get difficult, these top 6. If you haven't noticed yet, I've only now just begun with the original 6, the first 6 studio albums. Spoiler alert, but there it is. So those are the ones that are coming. And it was hard to pick to put them into order because I think I could find a reason for any one of them to be at number 1, but also for that same one that I would put at number 1, I could find a reason for it to be at number 6 or anywhere. So Kiss 1974 debut album is number 6. Number 5 is, and this could have been anywhere, but I put Destroyer at number 5, which was a little bit hard because King of the Nighttime World is probably also one of my top 5 Kiss songs in their entire catalog. So to put an album that contains King of the Nighttime World any lower than number 1 was kind of hard. But I do love it. And Detroit Rock City, yeah, I'm tired of it, but I can't deny the greatness of Detroit Rock City. Maybe the reason why I put this at number 5 and not higher, I hate overrated and underrated. So I'll explain this a different way. I think I don't like God of Thunder as much as most people. To be clear, I do like God of Thunder. But to me, it's not even close to my favorite Gene songs, let alone favorite Kiss songs, although I do like it. What I do love is Great Expectations. I think that's a potentially, I can't say it's one of my favorites on the album because there's no way I like it more than King of the Nighttime World, but I love Great Expectations. Very different. That was kind of a sign of what Gene would end up doing on his solo album a few years later. 3 years later. Flaming Youth when I was a kid, and I got Destroyer. As far as I can remember, Destroyer was I don't know if it was new at the time that I got it, but I'm sure it was their current album. And I loved Flaming Youth, and I still love it. I think Flaming Youth is another if you want to call God of Thunder for me overrated, I would say. Okay, I would say Flaming Youth is underrated. People don't really talk about Flaming Youth, but I think Flaming Youth is killer. And Shout It Out Loud, way better than Rock and Roll All Night. When I talked with Jason McMaster and Chris McLaren from Saigon Kick and Daniel DK from Exciter, we talked about this, that we compared them track by track, and just by luck, Rock and Roll All Night and Shout It Out Loud came head to head. Shout It Out Loud for me, easily. I like Shout It Out Loud. I don't think I ever got sick of Shout It Out Loud. I loved, again, the trading off the vocals between Paul and Gene. I did get sick of Rock and Roll All Night, never got sick of Shout It Out Loud. Do You Love Me? That's another one that maybe is a little bit overlooked. I love that song. My Lilia, who is my ex-wife, and we met because of Kiss 22 years ago, and we still listen to Kiss together in the car, or talk about Kiss. She hates Do You Love Me? And so every time that comes on in the car, I always turn up as loud as they'll go and I sing. She thinks I'm doing it just to get under her skin, but I really do think she confronted me about that a year or two ago. She said, "You don't even like this song. You just turn it up loud to bug me." I said, "No, I really do like Do You Love Me?" Both when I was a kid and now. My opinion of Do You Love Me never changed over all these decades. And Beth, I loved it when I was a kid. I guess when I was a kid, it was just automatic that you loved every Kiss song. Looking back on it now, it's not a bad song, but come on, man. It's Peter Criss singing, and it's an orchestra playing. So you can see why it was kind of, as Kiss claims, that it was a throwaway track, but you can also see why it went on to become such a big hit. So Destroyer, number 5. Number 4, let's see if anybody can predict where I'm going here. There are 4 left. And again, this could have been down 2, it could have been up 2. Excuse me, but I have Rock and Roll Over at number 4. I Want You, Take Me, Calling Dr. Love, See You in Your Dreams, Hard Luck Woman, Mr. Speed, Love 'Em Leave 'Em, Making Love, Baby Driver. Did I miss one? Killer album. Baby Driver is maybe my least favorite Kiss song out of all of the from the original 6 albums. The first 6 albums with the original 6. I think Baby Driver might be my least favorite, which is maybe also why I put Rock and Roll Over at number 4 instead of 3 or 2, because every other song is amongst my favorite. I would even say Calling Dr. Love has always been in my top 5 or 6 Kiss songs. I had the single when I was a kid, and I think Take Me was on the B-side of that. Calling Dr. Love, I don't know if I ever got tired of it. I love it. That's such a great song. I Want You with the acoustic intro. I love the album version more of I Want You more than the live version. Typically with Kiss, I like the live versions better, but I like the acoustic guitars on the album version. Same with Hard Luck Woman. I like the Rock and Roll Over version much better than the live version. I think Hard Luck Woman is an excellent Peter Criss song. His songs tend to be my least favorite on each album. On each album that has a Peter Criss song, his songs are among usually my least favorite. I think I didn't mention, but Dirty Livin' on Dynasty is for sure my least favorite. Baby Driver is not just my least favorite on Rock and Roll Over, but as I said, probably my least favorite in their whole of the 6 albums from the original lineup. But other than that, Mr. Speed, totally overlooked. I don't think they ever played that live, and every Kiss fan that I know loves Mr. Speed, including me. Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. This album didn't get, over the years, they kind of really, I think Calling Dr. Love is really the only song that they've kept in the set list. Making Love is a killer, maybe the one Kiss song that has like a real heavy metal riff, but it still has that Kiss, feel to it. So there we go. Rock and Roll Over, number 4. Up to number 3 now. Number 3 is Dressed to Kill. And again, I could have put this 1 or 2 lower. I could have maybe put it 1 higher. Is there anything that loses points for this? Maybe Rock and Roll All Night. Not that it's a bad song. I'm just very tired of it. I loved it when I was a kid. It was probably by the early or mid 80s that I started to get tired of it. I have no reason probably to ever play that song again unless I'm listening to it on Dressed to Kill as part of the album. But other than that, this was another one that I got into late. I think I only got Dressed to Kill, I want to say like 85. And so a lot of the songs on there that they didn't do on a live, I was just hearing for the first time, which I loved, which are still now, 37 years later, amongst my favorites. Room Service, man, oh man, amazing, killer opening song. Two-timer, Ladies in Waiting. Getaway, now that's a great, I mentioned Peter Criss songs. Getaway is an excellent song, although I think Ace wrote that. And that's kind of over, I think some people kind of forget the fact that the end of Getaway, they used in the live version to end Rock and Roll Night. That's from Getaway. I know every Kiss fan knows that, but I kind of forget it. And then when I hear that song, I go, oh yeah, they took that and tagged it at the end of Rock and Roll Night on Alive. Anything from My Baby. When I first heard that song, I thought in 1985, I thought, how could I have not heard this song? At that point, I had been a Kiss fan for 9 years, and I couldn't believe that they had a song as good as Anything from My Baby. I remember I loved especially Anything from My Baby and Room Service. And of course, I love Come On and Love Me, which had some kind of hard to notice acoustic guitars in there. And Rock Bottom, the live version of Rock Bottom, I think is way, way better. Actually, all the versions of from the first three albums are much, much, much better on the live, with no exceptions. But Rock Bottom is excellent. Dressed to Kill is a stellar album. That's why I have it at number 3, Dressed to Kill. Number 2, now there's 2 left. If you've been paying attention, there are 2 that I haven't mentioned, two that I haven't talked about yet. This is your opportunity to predict which one comes in which position. Take a minute to think about it. Number 2 is Hotter Than Hell. It's a very strange sounding album, but I like the way it sounds, and I love the songs on it. I always thought that Got to Choose was, and I had this in the 70s. I don't know why I had Hotter Than Hell, but I didn't have Dressed to Kill. Got to Choose is a strange opening song. It's not a typical opening song of for a Kiss album, or I think for any bands of that style. Got to Choose was, kind of mid-tempo, although the live version anyway is one of my top 10 Kiss songs anyway. Ooh, Got to Choose. Parasite, Watching You. Mainline, another great Peter Criss song. Mainline, baby, won't you give it to me one time? Peter Criss had 2 songs on this. He had Strange Ways too. What else is on Hotter Than Hell? Oh, Coming Home, killer song. They did a great version of that on Unplugged. All the Way. That's maybe that I'd put that in the same category as Mr. Speed. I don't think they ever played All the Way. They played it once or twice when they did that. They did that tour like in 2004 or something, where they did some rare songs, but they did it like once or twice per tour. I think they did All the Way then. But back then, they never did All the Way, which I don't understand because it's a great rock song. I think it would have been great live. You've got a lot to say every night and every sunny day. Dun, dun. Watching You, Parasite, a couple of favorites there. Oh, Going Blind, another one. How can I forget about Going Blind? Another amazing version that they did of Going Blind on Unplugged. This album could have even been number 1. As it is, it's number 2. But man, Hotter Than Hell is killer. And probably, maybe I can talk about that after. I'll talk about the Kiss album covers. Not all of them, not all 24. So if you've been paying attention, you should know by now that number 1 is Everybody Give It To Me. I Can't Hear You. All right, Love Gun, 1977 is my favorite Kiss album in their whole catalog, at least for today, and probably ever. When this Conversation comes up about favorite Kiss albums more than any other album. Love Gun I've cited as being my number one Kiss album. It includes what I consider to be my number one single favorite Kiss song ever, Christine 16. Man, I love Christine 16. Maybe Let Me Know is number two. Oh, Christine 16 is the studio album, the studio version especially, but the live version is great too. Love Gun is a classic that I would put Love Gun in the category of Detroit Rock City, that they played at every show, so you maybe get tired of it, but no denying that it's just a killer song. I Stole Your Love is another, just unbelievable. Almost Human, Plaster Caster, just as I said that they did Going Blind and Coming Home on Unplugged, which to me really enhanced my appreciation for those songs and the albums they were on. Plaster Caster that they did on the Unplugged was also amazing. Even I loved Then She Kissed Me. When I was a kid, I loved it, and I never disliked it. I think in the years that have passed, a lot of people don't like it either. I'm not sure it's because it's a cover or because of the gender reversal, or they just don't like it, but I love Then She Kissed Me. Even Hooligan. I really like Hooligan a lot. Actually, I can't say it's my favorite Peter Criss song, but I like it way better than Dirty Livin', Baby Driver. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's only better than those two. I actually like Peter Criss's songs. Just those two I really don't like, Dirty Livin' and Baby Driver. What else? Almost Human. I said that one. Tomorrow and Tonight. I like that one too. Actually, I love that one. I think it's kind of obvious that was an obvious attempt at an anthem a la Rock and Roll All Night, but I don't care. I liked it a lot. Did I get them all? So there it is. Love Gun at number one out of all of them. So there you go. Now I'm at a point where I don't know how to, sometimes if you climb a tree and you don't know how to get down, well, I'm kind of like that. I climbed the tree and now I don't know how to end this video. I'll recap. Sorry, I should say I'll recap. So here is my list. So this is what I was reading off. You can see that I made these. I called an audible at the line of scrimmage is what I did on these ones. So to recap, if you just scrolled ahead to this point, I should put a big sign saying recap so I can save you watching however long this has been. Probably about, I'm going to guess 53 minutes. I can't see the timer of the video. So this is what you want. Number 24, Peter Criss. Number 23, Music from the Elder. 22, Psycho Circus. 21, Crazy Nights. 20, Monster. 19, Hot in the Shade. 18, Sonic Boom, as Paul Stanley says. 18, Sonic Boom. 17, Creatures of the Night. 16, Carnival of Souls, the much maligned Carnival of Souls. 15, Dynasty, or Dynasty, as they say in Australia, or as Paul Stanley says on Unplugged, Dynasty. 15, Dynasty. 14, Animalize. 13, Asylum. 12, going back to the solo albums from 1978, Paul Stanley, 12. Revenge, number 11. Number 10 is Unmasked. 9, Lick It Up. 8, Ace Frehley. 7, Gene Simmons, the 1978. I guess we call them solo albums. To me, they're Kiss albums. So Ace Frehley, 8, Gene Simmons, 7. The self-titled, the one that started it all, 1974, Kiss, number 6. 5 was Destroyer. 4 was Rock and Roll Over. 3 was Dressed to Kill. 2 is Hotter Than Hell. And number 1, I'm pretty clear about this, is You Pull the Trigger of My Love Gun. So that's it. Now, I was going to mention something earlier about the album covers. They had pretty shitty album covers. After, let's say, the original lineup, I guess Creatures of the Night was pretty cool. Asylum sucked. Lick It Up, I guess it was fine for what it was. It was a good way to, although the image, the picture, and the title, Lick It Up, didn't make any sense. Crazy Nights, I guess that was okay. Hot in the Shade was a stupid album cover. Revenge was kind of plain, just like that. What was it, like a metal wall or something? So for me, it's the up to the first 6. I would even say the first 8, going all the way up to Unmasked. Anything that Peter Criss's face appeared on, amazing album covers. Again, talking about putting things in boxes and compartments. You know, the first 3, I'm sure everybody knows this. The first 3, Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill, were photographs. The second 3, Destroy Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun, were paintings. So I kind of look at those kind of like that. So the first 3, my favorite is Hotter Than Hell. I just like I don't know why they use the Japanese imagery, but I like the colors of it. Of the second 3, I love them all, man. Those second 3 album covers are all killer. I think I like Kiss better as paintings. Rock and Roll Over works great as a logo for something because it's round, but I really love Love Gun too. When I was a kid, man, there's not a better album, a better band to stare at their albums while you're listening to them than Kiss. Maybe Iron Maiden. Motorhead. I would even say Unmasked. There's that Unmasked album cover is fucking awesome. The cartoon panels and everything. I think it's a great album cover. And I had the poster on my room when I was 10 years old, and I had Dynasty on my walls when I was a kid too. So I'm not going to rank all the album covers, but they were pretty cool when they had makeup. So that's it. So I've climbed the tree. Now how do I get down? I'm not sure how to wrap these videos up. I have 1,100 videos. I've never not once I've ever told people, leave a comment down below. I've never told anybody to subscribe, to smash the like button. I don't feel comfortable telling people what to do. Although sometimes I really like to tell people what to do. I can be bossy. But I think if you want to like it, if you want to subscribe, if you want to ring the bell and get notifications, really, I appreciate it. It's not necessary. I would be a terrible salesman. But I do like reading comments. And if your comment is not a real dumbass comment, I promise I will respond to it. If you want to tell me how crazy I am for making my list different than yours, if you want to put your list, anything that I comment on, if I made any mistakes, which I often do, feel free to correct me. And you can maybe call me a name while you're at it too. It's what people like to do in this internet era. I sound like an old curmudgeon. But if you did watch this, maybe some of you did watch the whole thing. I would. I've watched. I'm actually embarrassed to say how much time I've spent watching people talking about Kiss. And I love talking about Kiss, which means I like listening to other people talk about Kiss. So if you did watch it, if you scrolled through it, whatever, thank you. I do appreciate it. And I think that's all. I have some other ideas for some Kiss videos with a couple of other people that I think I'm going to do maybe in the next few months whenever I get around to it. I need to feel it too. I can't just say I need to make a video. I'm not a content creator. I just kind of do these things when I feel like it and when I can find time. So that's the end of my Kiss album rankings. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you could feel the spirit of Kiss with me, and I'm glad that you're a Kiss fan. I don't care about what you are in life. If you're a Kiss fan, that's pretty good. Thanks for watching. See ya.